everyone, this is Lucy. Today I'm going to analyze the flavor text in the night fight, as I don't see many people discussing some very interesting things I've noticed. Thank you to the wiki for having all this information in one place. This video will chiefly be me reading the flavor text you get in the night battle and then talking about what I think about it. So let's start with the first piece of text you get, which is the roaring night appear. This is it's what appears when the night is encountered. I don't think it's all that special. This basically happens for almost every enemy. It's like a title drop for the night. You feel something hovering close behind your head. You feel cornered. You feel surrounded. Since these all play during the knife attacks, I'm guessing these are knives that are hovering around you and making you feel cornered. Suddenly, the north wind blew fiercely. Suddenly, a tempest. Suddenly, the north and east winds blew fiercely. This is when the knight cuts the battle box, so this probably means that doing that actively causes wind to happen, which I think is pretty neat. Your vision narrows. Your chest feels tight. You feel your chest twisting. You feel lightheaded. You felt a migraine coming on. Your heartbeat becomes twisted. These lines and their variations are very interesting to me. Most of these lines that refer to us seem to have us feeling nauseous and dizzy. Combined with Chris's act being hold breath, it may imply that Chris is actively resisting our control during the battle, or at least more than we already thought, since the hold breath act only working once is pretty indicative of that. Susie grew pale. This just plays when the knight is on low HP. I don't think it means very much. It's just a warning that a big attack is coming. Susie was hurt and beaten. Rousey became a pile of fluff. Chris kneeled in silence. The lines that play when the fun gang gets swooned. Interestingly, Rousey and Susie are swooned, but Chris is downed. I'm not sure if this is in every battle. I've never noticed it before. If so, is probably why you need to use a revivement on Susie and Rousey, but not on Chris. Susie struggled to give some kind of warning. If Susie's downed after the knight's penultimate attack, I think that's really neat that Susie tries to warn us. The knight's hands glow a strange color. Gashed her hands. The enemy is suddenly letting down their guard. This is after the knight's final attack. Susie hit him one more time. Chris coughed. The enemy slowly tilted its head. Only plays if you do the knight hitless, except for the final attack. So there's just a bit more evidence for the Chris and knight partnership. But then there are two more lines, and these are the most interesting lines out of the entire fight, at least in my opinion. You felt lightheaded. You saw golden stars. Now, this is my favorite line. This is what made me want to make this entire video. And this is very speculative, but we know that save stars from Undertale are gold, and chances are in Undertale we're using char as save file. Frisk isn't technically resetting. We're resetting. But Frisk can remember the resets. We know this because of Sans time travel secret, where he can tell from Frisk's facial expression, and in Asgore's battle, where Frisk basically unprompted tells Asgore how many times he's killed you. But in Deltarune, all the save stars are silver, or you could say they are monochrome. I have a feeling that the Deltarune save stars are copies of the real save stars, the ones that you use in Undertale. We save over Chris's save file because we have more determination than Chris, which makes sense since Chris's original soul color was probably not red. Gaster gave us the ability to use these goner stars because we can't access the normal ones in the Dark World or something. Since Toby said the Light World saves weren't originally supposed to be in the game, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that we'll at some point get to use a true save star, which might have something to do with the original Star Walker. The other thing is that I doubt that Chris could save and load, and that Chris ever reset. Even though we see Chris's save file, it has 0 hours on it. May mean that even though Chris has enough DT to have a file, Chris doesn't know how to access it without us, or straight up can't. I don't know of any evidence that Chris remembers resets like we have for Frisk. Personally, I think that Chris has a very small amount of determination. Since Chris can see the save stars, but there isn't any evidence that Chris can do anything with them. Now, I do know about the almost by second nature, you reach out and touch it, the light only you can see line. I'm not forgetting about that, but this only applies that Chris can see the save stars and has seen them before. Not that Chris was able to properly use them. Chris might not even have known how to properly use them or what they were, just that it was a weird human thing. Since, once again, Chris's save file has no hours on it. Okay, that was a lot, but there's still one more line from the night fight. Your vision narrows. The world revolves around you. Now, this is also I personally really like this line because it lends more credence to a theory of mine, or a theory that I believe in. It's not exactly my theory. It lends a lot more credence to the secret bosses paralleling the main cast theory, with Jevil being our parallel. I've already made a video on that theory. It isn't very good. You could probably find more stuff on it somewhere else. But the TLDR of the theory is that Jebel and the Soul are parallel characters. Ralsei and Spamton, Chris and Eram, Susie and Gerson are all parallels to each other. Yeah. So that's all the lines from flavor text in the night fight. Not too many people have been talking about them, so I thought I'd bring it up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.